Welcome to today's video. I'm really excited because today we're going to start buttoning some things up with the car that I've been ignoring for a while now while we try to, sort out the bigger issues and whatnot. So I've got a bunch of new parts that have arrived, so we're going to show you that and then jump right into it. One of the first things that I want to fix is actually my overflow situation here. I've been using this Mountain Dew what is this, Baja Blast bottle for a while now, and it serves its purpose, it does its job, but I thought it would be nice to put some bling in the engine bay, so I got this bad boy here, which goes right in there perfect, and this is going to replace that. But for sentimental value, I think I'm going to put the Mountain Dew label on the side of this just to keep it for, whoever wins it, so there's a little bit of a inside joke there and a bit of memorabilia for where this car came from, I don't know. I just think it'll be funny to put the Mountain Dew thing on there. Not trying to take Cletus's thing or anything like that. I just think it's a meme. So anyways, that aside, we've got a Coolant Overflow tank. Now this actually I picked up just off eBay. It's an eBay part, but I'm very, very impressed with how this thing's welded. It's raw alloy too. It's not like the shiny coated stuff. It doesn't look super tacky. I really love it. So pumped about that. And it's also got like proper fittings and stuff and a really good cap too. So I'm really happy about that. More parts, let's go look at them. I got a really simple, nice, small catch can setup, and this is gonna come off the PCV side. On this side, I'm gonna just put this little air filter here that I got for it as well, so that's going to go on there. But for the PCV valve, I'm going to run a hose off this to the catch can over here, and then from this to the catch can as well, just so no oil or anything's getting into the intake manifold and it's breathing well. And then another thing was I ordered a brand new one of these crappy oil restrictors to replace the one that's on the turbo now. As you guys know, I drilled this out to 2.5 millimeters instead of the standard 1 millimeter, but obviously with the oil pump it flows too much oil pressure gets in there. The turbo is also clogged. It had some weird draining issue, which we seemed to unclog, and then for me to then bring the restrictor back down, I put a nitrous jet in there. So we're going to take all that off and put this new one on there. But yeah, so once we finish with some of the engine bay dress ups, my main focus of today is this. The interior is still kind of a disaster. If we look at everything from this side, it looks great. We got a nice new wheel, we got a nice new hood. The dash looks amazing, which mind you, it looks awesome with the OEM green lights and LEDs and stuff in there. Now that aside, my main focus is the tombstone, the center console that goes here, getting all of that finished, rewiring everything because there's a disaster here. It's bad. So I want to get the head unit reinstalled. I want to make up a little face for the two gauges because we're not taking up the AC vents. This car will have functioning and active AC, so we don't want these here. They're going to go down here on a little plate next to the hydro. Head unit and everything. It's going to be great. And then pretty much once this is all tidied up, then this thing's going to be ready for Alex to give it a full detail. I'm honestly really excited to see this thing back together so I can see how everything's going to look with this beautiful GK Tech Hydro here. When I installed this, it literally took me 3 days to get this perfected because I was just such a perfectionist with it, trying to make sure it was installed exactly how I wanted it. So I'm really excited about it. The other thing as well is just the positioning of it, being able to, little things like this. I machined the side here just so you could still get the bolt in for this cover on the shifter, and being able to still have an OEM functioning e-brake was a big factor for me too. But yeah, everything that I've set this up for is a super practical street car, can have a comfortable ride but perform at the track really, really well. So anyways, enough chit chat, let's start busting our butt and get working on the car. Now I'm not entirely sure, but a lot of people were saying the reason why my turbo wasn't draining the other day was because I put this nitrous jet in here, and that my nitrous jet was probably stuck inside the turbo. But I don't know, maybe you guys just don't know how nitrous jets work, but this is them here. They slot in and then seal against the AN fitting. So yeah, that was essentially my oil restrictor solution until I could replace this, and there's no way that this can go inside the turbo and cause a blockage. Plus, I'm not sure how you got the timeline mixed up because I put this in after I already bench tested and showed you that it wasn't draining. So that was kind of, I thought, a little bit interesting. But now we can take this one off and put the correct one back on that isn't drilled, and we should be fine. Another big factor to this thing probably leaking oil is initially with the oil pressure that this thing runs, different viscosities and weights and stuff like that need to be taken into account, I feel. Because I have a high flow, high pressure oil pump, it's definitely going to be causing a lot of high pressure and stuff, so we want to make sure everything's all good there. Like, the thing's still not draining properly. It's still full of oil right now. Still looks like it's not draining properly. See all the oil just pooling there, not draining. It's kind of frustrating. It's actually really strange that a journal turbo would even have an oil restrictor, because it's a journal bearing. It needs it should be able to handle whatever oil pressure straight is coming out of the engine. Normally oil restrictors are only for ball bearing turbos. So it's actually really strange that this even needs a restrictor before the oil seals leak. Journal turbos, like, they need crazy oil pressure to keep the journal bearing floating. So it's actually really strange that these cheap China turbos even need it. I guess it's just they use a really cheap method of sealing the oil with the seals, and they're not machined right for handling high flow of oil, I guess. But any other like genuine brand of turbo that is journal, like the Mitsubishi cores, they take a full fitting straight in, no restriction whatsoever, because they're designed to handle that like it's a journal bearing. That's how they're meant to stop them from spinning, because it's the same journal bearing design as what's, you know, on your crank and conrods. It needs crazy oil pressure. Should not be any restriction whatsoever. Okay, well that's done for now. So we got that installed. Now on to the next thing. Let's get the coolant overflow tank installed. This overflow bottle has been literally the easiest thing to install. Done. So simple and easy. It bolts straight in. Looks so good, man. And one thing that I wanted to check as well, because this is another thing, a lot of people, like companies that make overflow bottles, they just think to put like a fitting on there and don't have anything that takes it down to the bottom. But I was just looking in there, dropping sockets. Might be hard to see, but you can see that aluminum tube that goes down to the bottom there. So it is a proper overflow tank. It's not just like a tank with a fitting on the top. So that's awesome. Gonna obviously now move this this bad boy over there. Let's shake out some of that coolant. Well, it's actually just water and water wetter, and then we'll pour that in there. There you go. Need to put this label on the side here or something. We'll figure that out in a second. Just topping her up with some more distilled water, which I've spilt everywhere. It's a pretty big overflow tank. It's actually really good. That should be well and truly enough. And you can see there that I've got that label there. We're definitely going to have to tape it on or glue it on or something, but might just leave it like that for the new owner to decide. I just think it's a nice little touch. A memory of something that, you know, that was for the car. No more. Anyways, so that's the overflow tank sorted out. Love that thing. So sick. All right, next step, oil catch can. Well, first of all, we can do this mod right away. Boom. Need to get a little hose clamp on that, but that's that side done. Now this one, I need to figure out where to mount it, how to mount it. Probably just gonna mount it there. I need to work out window washer though. That's something I need to sort out, because that one we're keeping the plastic ones, and I think that goes there. All right, I'll quickly figure that out, and then I'll get back to figuring out where we're mounting this. Okay, so I mounted the windscreen washer bottle, and unfortunately, it's gonna make mounting this oil catch can very difficult. So I was hoping to put it literally like where it is now, and so then I was like, maybe here would look okay, but then my clutch line's in the way, the AC lines, I can't run those yet till we change the hot side, because we're changing how intercooler runs and stuff with the new turbo. It's going to be going through the fender here instead of down there. So until the AC lines are in, I won't know if I'm going to have space to mount this in there. So that kind of puts a bummer on it. So we'll mount the oil catch can after the new hot side's done. One other place that may work is we might be able to snake it down and inside there, and then just run the lines to it. The only downside to that is if ever the new owner needs to drain this, they're going to have to pull the windscreen washer tank out to then get to the catch can and unscrew it. But one other positive thing to this is you'd only need to do that if you actually knew it was full, because it has a nice little level checker built into it that you should be able to snake your hand down there and be able to reach and check. So you can see if it's actually got anything in there, which it probably won't. I mean, once this thing's on E85, it may breathe a bit more, because E85 generally produces a lot more condensation in your oil and things like that. So yeah, I don't know, we'll put this aside for now. We'll do that later when the fab work's all done with the new turbo. Like I said, we're gonna be changing the intercooler piping through here, just like on Chris's. It's a good example, actually, it's here. You can see that the intercooler piping comes from the front of the intercooler up into the fender, and it actually goes through here to the turbo there. That way that'll leave us all the room we need for power steering and AC lines, so that will solve that problem. Worst case scenario, if we don't end up mounting it, I'll include it in the boot of the car for the new owner to sort out if they want to. But yeah, so we'll put that aside for now and do that later. But otherwise, let's jump onto the interior and start buttoning things up there and sort that out. That's going to be really my biggest thing today that I want to get sorted out. So let's get to it. So I've gotten everything together now, and I'm loving how everything's looking. We definitely need to get that piece made in here for these gauges to sit in, because obviously like these flopping around right now isn't going to help. But yeah, I love the layout and how everything looks. It's so good. I really do love this placement of the hydro. I think it's like the best thing about it. Factory e-brake, no problem. Even when you pull on it, like it doesn't even hit the button or anything. So you're going to be able to definitely have some fun with that. The shift knob's not really in the way of anything. Even when it's shifted all the way into gear, doesn't touch the gauges or anything. So placement's definitely perfect. I think I only have like, maybe there's 2 more screws in here. Yep, there is. So these 2 screws need to go in. But otherwise, she's in. We even got the vents in. I just love how tidy this looks. Like, this was my goal, like literally, was to just make sure that this was all going to be tidy. One thing that's really bugging me as well is this surround around the steering wheel. It doesn't clip together anymore. I think the clips have just worn out. So that's kind of bugging me, but can't really control that. Steering wheel on, and just look how OEM and epic this looks. It's going to look so good, especially when I've got like a little piece of carbon fiber in here, plate covering up everything, and just the gauges sitting in there nicely. Seriously, look at this. Probably my favorite thing about this is just how clean it looks. And no one's gonna really know what's going on with the car until they pop the hood and hear it, because it's just like a normal red Miata. Now, I was thinking about, you know, painting the car and stuff like that. I decided not to, because I felt like if we made this like some other color or anything, it would just kind of like, it would stand out too much. And I think the best thing about this, and the best thing about what I do with my cars, except for the S15, is I'm a very big function over form kind of guy, and I love building sleepers, stuff that's going to surprise people, and I feel like this car's going to do just that. You know, the body's not the best condition, there's a few scratches, there's some dings and stuff like that on it, and the paint at some point was resprayed at Mako probably, but it looks really good. Wheel combo, tire combo, everything under the car is epic. It's pretty much been replaced and ready for fun. Especially when you pop the hood, everyone's gonna know that this thing's a party car. Oh man. So if anything, this car's gonna be pretty much a sleeper for whoever's gonna win it. I'm really pumped. Probably in the next 1 to 2 days, I'm gonna actually know who the winner is. And I'm still waiting for final confirmation if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm hoping I can call them and put that in my vlog, like telling them that they've won. I think that's gonna be very, very cool. But for now, this thing looks so good. It's really the little things that just makes stuff so much better. Seriously, I can't get it. This thing I think needs to stay here. Whoever wins this, please keep this here. I just think that's something special, you know? I love it. Seriously, I can't, oh man. I can't believe I built this to give it away. Like, that's still blowing my mind. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, today was a really big struggle for me. You can probably tell, just not really in my A game today. I really struggled getting to sleep last night. I don't know, I was watching a little bit too much Netflix and anime, and my mind like just would not switch off at all no matter what I did, just stressing about trying to get home and everything that's going on. So I'm sorry that today's content is just kind of me like buttoning some things up, but it really is the small things that count the most, I feel, sometimes with cars and mods and all that stuff. But yeah, that aside, hope you enjoyed this video, hope you learned something, I hope you're pumped about the Miata.
I'm really excited about just how like clean this looks. The only way that you know something's going on is when you see the pink stick sticking out. That's it. Everything about this just looks so OEM and clean.
I can't remember if I explained this in the video or not, but a lot of people have been saying like, why haven't I been putting the fenders and the bumper back on? Reason for that is with all the fab work that we're gonna be doing with the new turbo that's coming, is we need the fenders off for the piping and stuff like that. So it'll all be going on once that work is done. We've still got a lot to finish this thing up. Obviously new hot side, some fabrication work for all of that, wastegate stuff happening. I need to, once all the fab work's done, take it all off again and then give the car to Tommy to touch everything up and box in that piece down there and reinforce it and paint it black again, the piece we cut out to make everything fit. And then otherwise, that's pretty much it. Everything goes back together and it's off. I need to figure out what to do up here. I think we're going to leave this open because every company I tried talking to for a cover for here, they have like a 4-week waiting time right now. So I guess we'll just leave it factory and open like that, which kind of sucks, but it's all right. It still looks good because it's all black there, so it looks epic. And with that, guys, I'm gonna leave it here. Smash that like button, write us a comment, and if you're watching and you're not subscribed yet, definitely go click that subscribe button and also hit the bell and turn on notifications. It really helps. Like you have no idea how much it actually helps when you guys turn on notifications. The reason for that is YouTube's changed a lot and it doesn't actually always tell you and show you videos from the people you subscribe to. So if you always want to make sure you don't miss out on one of my uploads, make sure you hit that notification button. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace out. Jamata.